excited to have the AGM back in India after an absence of 42 years. We thought this was a wonderful opportunity to actually double our firm orders from 30 to 60.
A few months ago, India's aviation regulator ordered IndiGo to temporarily pare back part of its flight schedule following a string of operational disruptions. Thousands of passengers faced cancellation and delays. The incident itself was not unusual.
ऐसा करने लगे कैसा करने प्यार से बोले मैडम प्यार से बोले आप 3 दिन से प्यार से बोल रहे हैं.
Airlines around the world deal with operational turbulence. What was unusual was the national conversation that followed. Commentators began asking whether India had been dangerously reliant on single carriers.
Well, also in India this Friday, air travel in the world's most populous country was heavily disrupted for a fourth straight day after its largest airline, IndiGo, canceled 500 additional flights, including all planned departures from New Delhi.
Some went so far to call IndiGo a monopoly. The logic was hard to dismiss.
I've already destroyed my entire day. I think IndiGo today has gone arrogant to the extent that you think you have monopoly. You have monopoly. Your flight charges are going at 15,000, 20,000. There's nobody to look at.
When one company carries the majority of a country's domestic air passengers, its problems stop being corporate news and start being national news. Whether or not the monopoly label is fair, the episode reveals something remarkable about IndiGo's standing. It had become so deeply embedded in Indian aviation that its stumble sent tremors across the entire sector. Which raises a fundamental question. How did any airline get here? To appreciate what IndiGo has built, you first have to understand the industry it operates in. Aviation has an almost unrivaled talent for destroying capital. Fixed costs are enormous. Aircrafts are expensive to buy, maintain, lease, and park. Fuel prices swing unpredictably. Currencies fluctuate. Airports charge handsomely for access. Pilots are in short supply. Regulators set the rules but rarely the margin. And unlike an hotel which can absorb an empty room overnight and try again tomorrow, an airline hemorrhages money every time an aircraft sits idle. Warren Buffett spends the better part of 4 decades cautioning investors to stay away from airlines. The industry has historically extracted enormous investment while returning precious little of it. India's own aviation history is a case study in that destruction. Kingfisher Airlines arrived with a celebrity backing, premium branding, and enormous ambition and collapsed under debt. Jet Airways spent 2 decades building one of the most respected names in travel, then entered insolvency. More recently, Go First filed bankruptcy despite the support of India's one of the most oldest and most trusted conglomerates. 3 airlines, 3 distinct strategies, 3 failures. Against this backdrop, IndiGo's dominance is not just impressive, it is borderline improbable. The clearest explanation for IndiGo's success is that it understood something its rivals persistently ignored. In aviation, operational discipline beats glamour every time. While competitors were building brands, IndiGo was building a machine. The first pillar of that machine was radical simplicity. IndiGo concentrated its fleet heavily on the Airbus A320 family, rather than operating a patchwork of aircraft types. To a passenger, a choice of aircraft is largely invisible. To an airline, it's transformative. Single fleet type means pilots train faster, mechanics become specialists, spare parts inventories shrink, and scheduling becomes less complicated. Complexity is one of aviation's great hidden costs. IndiGo minimized it early and never looked back. The second pillar was an almost fanatical focus on aircraft utilization. An aircraft earns money only when it's airborne. The moment it touches down, the race begins to turn it around for next departure. IndiGo approached this like a manufacturing operation, shaving minutes of turnaround times with the same intensity a factory might apply to reducing idle machinery. No single improvement was dramatic. Cumulatively, they added up to meaningfully more efficient operation that most competitors could match. The third pillar was scale, which over time became a competitive moat in its own right. IndiGo began placing aircraft orders that were, by any measure, extraordinary in their size. When a buyer commits to hundreds of aircraft at once, manufacturers respond with commercial terms simply unavailable to small operators. Lower acquisition costs feed lower fares. Lower fares attract more passengers. More passengers justify larger orders. Larger orders further reduce costs. The cycle is self-reinforcing and once established, deeply difficult for a late arrival to break. The fourth pillar was financial discipline, arguably the one that mattered the most. Indian aviation has been littered with airlines that pursued growth aggressively and worried about profitability later. IndiGo inverted that model. It guarded its margins carefully and used the resulting profits to fund further expansion rather than borrowing its way into a corner. That discipline is what separated it from Kingfisher, Jet, and Go First more than any other single factor. Finally, IndiGo benefited from timing. India's aviation market has been on a structural upswing driven by rising incomes, rapid urbanization, and infrastructure investment. Yet, by global standards, India remains dramatically underpenetrated. Hundreds of millions of people are now only entering income brackets where flying becomes a realistic option. If the last 2 decades produced remarkable growth, the next 2 decades may well dwarf them. Most people still think of IndiGo as a domestic airline. That framing is becoming obsolete. For decades, Indian passengers flying internationally have largely relied on foreign carriers. Travelers headed to Europe connected through Dubai or Doha. Those bound for North America routed through London or Abu Dhabi. A substantial share of the enormous and fast-growing revenue from India-origin international travel has flowed to Gulf carriers, European flag carriers, and others, not to Indian Airlines. IndiGo intends to change that. The company's leadership has been explicit about the ambition to transform IndiGo from India's largest airline into a globally significant one. To pursue this, the company has assembled one of the largest aircraft order book in aviation history.
We turned flying from a luxury for a privileged few into a safe global mass transit network serving nearly 5 billion travelers a year.
हम मिलकर एक ऐसा फ्यूचर बनाएं जहां हवाई यात्रा सभी के लिए एक्सेसिबल, अफोर्डेबल और सिक्योर हो। मुझे विश्वास है कि आप सभी एविएशन सेक्टर को नई ऊंचाई पर ले जाने के नए समाधान निकालें।
Nearly 950 aircraft and structured it in 3 deliberate layers. The first layer is the existing A320 and A321 fleet, which continues to power domestic dominance and short-haul international routes. The second layer is the A321 XLR, a narrow-body aircraft with a range to reach parts of Europe, East Africa, and Central Asia without the cost structure of a wide-body jet. It is a bridge between the airline IndiGo is and the one it wants to become. The third layer is the Airbus A350, long-haul, wide-body, purpose-built for intercontinental routes. Early services to Manchester and Amsterdam are not gestures. They are proof of concept. Whether IndiGo can replicate its domestic formula internationally is genuinely uncertain, and the honest answer is nobody knows yet. Long-haul aviation is a different game. Passengers expect more, competition is fiercer, unit economics are harder to manage. And Indigo will not be competing against weak domestic rivals. It will be going up against carriers with decades of international experience, established loyalty programs, and deep relationships with corporate and premium travelers. At home, the competitive landscape is also shifting. Air India, now under Tata ownership, is investing heavily in revival.
Ending 68 years of government control, India's national carrier Air India has flown back into the Tata Sons fold. The Tatas won a bid for 100% stake in Air India for around $2.4 billion.
The era of easy domestic dominance may not last forever. What Indigo has is a rare combination: strong balance sheet, operational expertise, the lowest cost structure of Indian carrier, and a strategic vision that extends well beyond the subcontinent. It also has something less tangible but equally important: track record of execution in one of the world's most unforgiving industries. The aircrafts are on order, the international routes are expanded, the strategy is in motion. Whether the formula that conquered India can conquer something larger is a defining question of next decade for Indigo and for Indian aviation. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe to Periscope. We covered the business, technologies, policies, and economic forces shaping India's future and its place in the world. And let me know in comments, can Indigo challenge the world's leading international airlines or its global expansion where its biggest challenges begin?